Hey Grace Church, my name is Josh. Welcome to the weekly for the week of January 22nd. Today we are talking about our outward opportunity to be a people of God's presence. So over the last few weeks, we have covered what it means to connect with God upward. We've talked about how to connect with each other in an inward nature, and now today we're talking about how to connect with God as we go out. And we highlighted 3 ministries that we believe are demonstrating and proclaiming the gospel in a way that is worthy of our partnership. And so the first ministry is called CAPS, and they help moms who are struggling with needing resources in an unwanted or unexpected pregnancy. The second is Olive Crest, and they specialize in foster care and adoption. And then lastly was JH Outback, and they specialize in strengthening and making healthy families. And so as we engage these 3 ministry opportunities, I took just a moment to talk about the foundational doctrine that underpins all of these. And so in the first group, we referenced the doctrine of Imago Dei, that all of us have been made in God's image. So according to Genesis 1, we've all been created in the image of God, and that gives us a certain implied value, that all people are worthy to be valued with the treatment reflective of an image bearer. We are set apart. We have God's likeness in us. We have unique abilities that God's given us, and we are different than all other creatures. And God's asked us to steward the world. And so that doctrine gives us a worldview that says no matter who people are on the social status, from the janitor to the CEO, everyone that you've ever met is worthy of respect and honor. And so anywhere we see mistreatment of a person, you really see mistreatment of the Imago Dei. And so we referenced slavery as an illustration of a place where the Imago Dei was being harmed. And so the abolitionists, people that actually believed this is not okay, they got that belief from the doctrine of Imago Dei. And we referenced William Wilberforce and the abolitionist movement in the 1800s and the motto that they had, this motto of, "Am I not a man and a brother?" And this idea came from the intrinsic value given to us in the Imago Dei. And so we talked about this as an illustration with disability, racism, abuse. Anywhere we see mistreatment of people, we see a misunderstanding of Imago Dei. And so then we referenced just the reality that there's no shortage of places where there's mistreatment. But we as a church, we want to resource and protect women who are struggling with an unexpected or unwanted pregnancy. And so that's where we started with the ministry called CAPS, where judgment-free, shame-free, this ministry comes alongside women in crisis and offers them ultrasounds, offers them diapers, offers them the help they need to ultimately carry the baby. And so that's a place we want to serve with. And then secondly, we moved from that to a group called Olive Crest, and they specialize in foster care and adoption. And so we moved from the doctrine of Imago Dei to the doctrine of adoption. In James chapter 1, it says, "Religion that our God and Father finds to be pure and faultless is to take care of orphans and widows in their distress." And so the idea that what's happened to us vertically, that we have the Imago Dei, we have been adopted, is now our responsibility to mirror that horizontally in the world. And so the gospel in the New Testament is primarily described as adoption, that we weren't just forgiven of our sins, we were adopted into a family. And the truth is, God in His identity is a God who's an adoptive Father. If we were to introduce God to your friends, you would say, "Hello, this is God." He is a father to the fatherless. And so the power of the gospel is that there are no natural born children in God's family. We have all been adopted. And if that's true of us vertically, then it should also be true of us horizontally. We should be a people who care for the orphans. We should be a people who care for those who are vulnerable and need families. And so we referenced that today there are 3,000 children in the foster care system in San Diego County. And so it's not, our movement towards serving these children is not just a spiritual shallowness. It's built out of a theology that says, this is what's happened to me. This is what's happened to our church. And so naturally we would move into the world in that same posture with that same hope. And so I also reminded us that this is not, orphan care is not a call to social justice. It's something that belongs to the gospel. This belief is something that belongs to God, and our allegiance is to God. Therefore, we serve under resource moms. Therefore, we move forward serving orphans. And so that then led us to the hope from serving under resource moms to serving those in the foster care and adoption need, to then moving to JH Outback, which is a ministry designed to strengthen families. And so we said as a church, we want to make disciples, and that starts in our families. And so we need to be people who strengthen marriages, who help parents lead their children. And so JH Outback offers these marriage weekends where you can strengthen your marriage. They offer opportunities for parents to go with their kids and connect in a meaningful way. And ultimately, serving to strengthen families is an upstream solution for a lot of these downstream issues. Healthy families prevent a lot of these struggles. And so this was a different kind of Sunday for us, but it's important to realize we're not just a people of God's presence that worship and sing and pray. We're not just a people of God's presence who connect with the church and do fellowship. We're a people who bear the presence and the image of God, and we have been mandated to go into the world and to serve in broken places. So what's happened to us vertically, it is now our responsibility to mirror that horizontally. And so it was our prayer and our hope that at some point in the sermon, that one of these three ministries would become a burden on your heart, and that you would get involved and you would be engaged, and that by God's grace, we would be a people who come alongside and support these ministries, therefore making vulnerable people less vulnerable. And so my hope is that we become that kind of church.